Hello there, my gorgeous friends on the internet. In this video, we're going to create a responsive navigation bar, but rather than having that boring block just expand when we're on mobile, when you click on the hamburger up here, we are going to add this liquid motion expansion thing to it, okay? So as you can see here on the screen, when we click it, it just expands very nicely and it's liquidy and motiony. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so let's just roll the intro. Just roll it. Alright, so what we have here in VS Code, I just have an empty index.html, a style.css, and we have an app.js. All of them are empty, besides the CSS, which I usually just remove the basic stylings here. And I've attached this SVG, which we're gonna find on my GitHub. So let's get going. We are gonna go to index.html here, and we're just gonna add a minimal markup here. It's not too bad. So all we have to do is just create a nav here. And here we're gonna have the hamburger, which is gonna actually be invisible. So we're gonna just create 3 divs here with a class of line, and which we can duplicate by holding Shift Alt and just pressing down twice. That's gonna give us 3 lines. And that's it, that's all we need in here. Now this is, again, is gonna be invisible, and when we're on mobile, we're gonna just add these styles to it. So that's all we have there, and then we have a UL with the actual links to it, to the like about, contact, and projects. So you can do UL dot, and then you can add the class name, which I'm gonna add nav links, like so. Hit enter, and here we're gonna have an li with an anchor tag in here. I'm just gonna add a hashtag here. It's not gonna take us anywhere for now. I'm gonna add about, and I'm gonna duplicate these twice again. Here I'm gonna rename this to contact, and down here we're gonna rename this to projects. And that's everything we need here. That's all the nav, and just to have something interesting on the nav, on the page, not just the nav bar, we're gonna add just a section here called landing, okay, with the class of landing. And here I'm just gonna have the image of that SVG that I have attached. I'm gonna call this dots. Again, this is just optional, you don't need to do this, but I'm gonna do it just so everything looks nice. And we can pop this open with, my other click doesn't work, open with live server. I have to change this stupid thing. Okay, there we go, that's all we have. And it looks amazing. I'm gonna drop it in here, like so. I'm gonna make it smaller. Actually, I'm gonna make it full screen because we're gonna optimize this for desktop first. So let's go into our style.css and make this thing look half decent, okay? So all we have to do is let's just grab the nav here. I'm gonna give it, whoa, that's weird. Let's switch to English. I'm gonna add a height of 10 VH to this. So that's gonna be the size of our nav bar. And I'm just gonna add the background of, and we can actually go to the circle SVG and get this one, which is 5B78C7. It's gonna be this nice bluish color. So let's take a look, and that's what we have there. As you can see, the links are up there, and that's all we need. So let's also get the nav links. So this is the unordered list on the page, and we can display this flex. So it goes horizontally like this. Okay, so they're not going in column anymore. And actually, let's make these visible. So I'm gonna change the colors of them. I'm gonna get nav links. I'm gonna do a nasty selection here that I don't recommend. Usually you add a class to this as well, but we're gonna do this one fast. I'm gonna add a color of white so we can see. And I'm also gonna remove the text decorations and all the other things that we usually just don't need. So we do that, then we're gonna do the text decoration. We're gonna remove this. We're gonna say none. Font size, let's make this 16 pixels, which I think it's the default, so I'm just repeating myself. Let's get the body here. I'm gonna add the font family, and I'm gonna change this to sans serif, like so. Oh, font, not font display, font family. Let's just do this one, because it doesn't look that bad. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, there they are. Now to remove these dots from there, we can do list style, and we can do none and the nav links, whoops, and that's going to remove us all those dots up there. All right, so we just have the nav links in here, and what we can do is we can add a width to these. Let's make it width 50%. So this is the unordered list. So just to visualize this, I'm going to add a background color of light coral. So this is what we have. This is our unordered list here. Now I'm going to add a height of 100%, so it's the same height as our nav, because that's what we want. So height 100%. Okay, there we go. And now I want these to be spaced around and aligned in the center. So to do that, all you have to do is say justify content space around. That's going to do it horizontally, like so. And then we can do align items center to do it vertically. There we go. Okay, but now I kind of don't really want this to be here. I want these to be up on this side. So how can we do that? The simplest way we can do that is just to add a margin left of auto. So when you add auto, it's automatically going to jump it to this side of the page. Good. And now we can remove the light coral because we don't need that. Let's get rid of this. Hit save. There we go. Pop this open. Looks wonderful. Okay. Perfect. Let's also just modify this a bit so it looks half decent. So I'm going to go back to VS Code here, and down here, let's just get the landing like so. I'm going to add a height of 90 VH. Okay, so we have 10 here, and I add 90 here just so it's full screen. So 90 plus 10, I believe it's 100. And then we're going to do just display flex again here. Justify content center, align items center. Okay, just aligning everything in the center here. Perfect. And now what we can do is just get the landing H1 here and just add a margin of like 100 pixels and a font size of 50 pixels. Make it bigger, and let's also get the color, the upper color here, which is the pink. Is it pink? Actually, let's see. Hit save. Well, don't hit save. Add color and then add this color. Let's see. Yeah, we got this nice pinkish color. Not pink, it's purple. What's wrong with me today? Okay, there we go. I always mess up pink and purple. Let me know if you do that as well, or if I'm just very, very stupid. Okay, so we have that going. Perfect. And now we can just mess around and make this responsive. So we finished there. Now how can we make this responsive? It's super easy. We just go down here. We add a round symbol and then say media screen, and what we can do here is add parentheses, and we can define the value when this media query should take effect. So if I say here max width, I'm going to add a colon, and if I say 768 pixels, like so, and then I just open curly brackets again, like we normally would. If I add body here, I can just get the body and say display none. So basically what happens when I hit the 678 pixel mark, it's going to add display none to our body. And as you can see, it's not working. The reason why that's not working is we need to add the space down here. Okay, so media screen and max width. Hit save, and as you can see now, when we go all the way down here, it's gonna add display none. Okay, so we don't want to add display none to this, so we're just gonna make this small again, like so, and we can actually stick our preview here so we can visualize everything. Okay, so we want this to take effect around, I don't know, around here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the let's get the nav links first. So we're gonna get the nav links, and what I want to do is add a position fixed to these, like so, and it's gonna bring it down here. As you can see, I'm gonna just add a background of, we're gonna get the color from up here, that bluish color again. So we're just gonna stick the background so we can see what's happening here. So there it is. Okay, and what we're gonna do is add a height of 100 VH and a width of 100%. So it's all full screen like that. Okay, now this is fixed, so we cannot do anything on the page anymore. Okay, so that's what we got. We're gonna also add a flex direction column to this, so it goes down that way. Okay, perfect. So that's what we have for now here. I'm gonna add display none to this just for a bit so we can visualize everything else. So as you can see, since we added a position fixed to this nav links, we don't have anything up here anymore. So let's add the burgers. So let's go all the way up here or down there, either way. We can just get the line. All right, so each line we can add a width of 30 pixels. Let's add a height of 3 pixels, a margin let's actually add just a background white to this and see what we got. Okay, so we just got those 3 lines up there, but we kind of want to have some space in between them. So we can do that by adding a margin of 5 pixels. And there we go. We got our navbar going right there, our hamburger. Perfect. Let's also get the nav here. I'm going to add a position relative to this because I want to move this burger all the way here in a very specific position. So now if I add position relative to the nav, I can get the hamburger. Remember, the lines that we have here are actually in the hamburger, okay? So we can add a position absolute and we can move the whole thing. All right, absolute. I'm gonna add a cursor pointer so it looks clickable. Okay, perfect. And then down here, we can just add right 5%, like that. It's gonna move it that way. Let's add a top of like 20%. It's kind of gonna move it there. And to actually position this better, we can do a transform, translate -5% and -50%. Okay, just to position it. Actually, I think it's the other way around. Actually, yeah, okay, I added -50% here, and here I added 20. So I have to add 50, and then it's perfectly gonna be in the center. I cannot speak anymore. These hamburgers are making me want to eat. And, okay. Perfect, so that's what we have. Good, let's bring back the nav links here, and we are almost done. So what we need to do is to get that beautiful looking circular animation is down here. Rather than hiding this nav, what we can do is we can mess around with something called clip path. So if you don't know what a mask is, don't worry, I'll explain to you. Let's say we have this piece of paper, okay? And now I want to make a mask of a circle in it. So I'm gonna kind of cut out a circle here. All right, and this will be my mask. This is how it looks, okay? It kind of looks like a circle. And what we can do is we can have, this can be our nav, okay? Our nav bar, our big blue nav bar. And if we put the mask on it, only that small green is gonna be visible, okay? And then we can take this and we can expand this mask all the way till it fills up. It fills up the whole screen. After that terrible analogy, we can get going. So down here in our nav links, we're gonna create that mask. So to do that, we're gonna use something called clip path. Like so, clip path. And we can add a circle, as you can see up there. Hit that, and now what we can do is we can add how big we want this circle to be. So if I add 100 pixels, hit save, as you can see, it's gonna be 100 pixels. If we add 50, it's only gonna show 50 pixels, okay? But we want to start this off at, let's start it off at 0, okay? But before actually we do that, I actually want to show you what else we can do here. So we have 100 there, and after we can add an at, like that, at, and we can also define the position we want this to be at. So to define the position, we can add percentages, just like top, left, right, bottom, okay? So to do up, we can go 90%. Actually, that's gonna be right, I apologize. And then we can put it up with this 10%, so it's gonna go up. However, if I wanna make it go more up, I can do like something like -10%. That's gonna bring it all the way up here, so it's kind of out of frame a bit. Okay, so that's the way we can do that. And actually, this property, just to warn you, doesn't have that great of a support. So to add a bit better support to this, make sure, please, please, please make sure you also add this. You're gonna do a line WebKit, like so, WebKit, clip path. Clip path, like so, okay? So dash, WebKit, another line, clip, line, path, and then colon, and we can just copy everything from up here and paste it down here. Hit save, okay? It's gonna basically be the same thing. All right, and then we can also add a transition to this because we want to transition it we're gonna add a transition, all 1 second, and we can do an ease for now. Actually, we can do an ease out. Okay, it's probably gonna make it look cooler. Okay, now we can create a open class to this. So in JavaScript, when we hit this, it's gonna animate. So let's take a look on how we can do that. We're gonna create a nav links dot open, like so. Okay, and here I'm just gonna copy these two properties from up here. So let's hit copy and drag it, and back here. Actually, let's close this up for more space. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. Hit paste this sucker, and let's modify this. So now we cannot see what we're modifying here because this is going to be added after. So let's just try to modify it up here, and then we're going to copy the properties, and we're going to change everything back to 100 pixels. So let's see 500. Let's see how that looks. And actually we have to modify both of these, I believe. So look at that, 500. If we do 800, now here's kind of like trial and error, and you have to see at what size it's gonna fill up most of your screen. Because if you go smaller, it's gonna probably fill it up more. And if you make it wider, it's gonna fill it up less. So now, come on, work with me. All right, let's try 1000. All right, that fills it up full screen for us. Let's expand it a bit. Perfect. All right, see, it's popping out there a bit, so you can probably go a bit more, but I'm gonna leave it like so. So just experiment with this, and you can go bigger or smaller. All right, so we need around 1000. So I'm gonna switch this back to 100, like we had it before, and down here, when we add the class, we're gonna add 1000 to both of these. Okay, hit save. Perfect. Let's hit refresh. And now what we can do is, let's also change these to column. So the landing flex direction column, okay? Like that. Okay, perfect. There we go. Let's go into our JavaScript and add that class. So close everything up here, make some space. Back here, what we can do is just get the hamburger. It's gonna set it equal to document.querySelector. And we can get the hamburger. All right, we can also get the nav links. It's going to be equal to document.querySelector. We're going to do the same things here. Nav links. And let's also get the each individual links. Const links is going to be equal to document.querySelector all. I'm going to select all of them here. I'm going to do nav links like we did up there, but I'm also going to select the li. Okay, so all the li's in this. Okay, let's just add the opening transition to see if it works. So we can get the hamburger. We can add an event listener to this, and on click, we can just run a arrow function here. And what I want to do is I just want to get the navlinks.classList. I'm going to toggle a specific class. And which class? Well, the open that we just created. So hit save, let's see, hit, and boom, there we go. We get a nice, super nice animation. Oh, Ed, we have a problem. Where's my hamburger? It's gone. I ate it, okay, because I'm really hungry. So let's go back to our style.css, and the reason why that is because this expands right on top of the navbar. So what we can do is we can go up to our hamburger, and we can just add a z index of like 2 or something, and then it's still gonna be up here. So wow, there we go. Expand this beautifully, looking good. Now another problem is this is still, well, it's not clickable. It should be, but as a safety precaution, what we can do is we can go to navlinks here, and we can add a pointer event, none, and when we open it, we can add those pointer events back. Pointer events all. There we go, just so we don't have any issues with clicking them. Hit open, there we go, beautiful, everything is clickable. Close, and there we go. That's all we have. Now to also add these to fade in individually, we can quickly do that by, let's just do it this way. We can go below our landing here. I'm just gonna add navlinks, li, I'm gonna add opacity 0 to all of them, okay? And now let's also get the navlinks LIA. Again, super ugly selection. I apologize. I'm going to change the font size to like 25 pixels, so it's a bit larger. And here, what we can do is I can get the nav links li. I'm going to get the nth child. Whoa, nth. Can never write this correctly. Nth child. And we can get the first one, and we can apply a different transition to all of them. So I'm going to get the first one, the second one, third one. And I'm going to just change 1, 2, 3 here. And what we can do is we can just apply a transition, all 0.5 seconds ease, and we can apply a delay here. So I can say 0.2 seconds, paste it here, and we can do 0.4 seconds here and 0.6 seconds here. Okay, so we're going to apply the opacity back. And what we can do is just get the LIs here and apply a fade class to them and just add opacity to 1. Okay, this doesn't do anything right now. They're still invisible. But what we can do is back in JavaScript, we can add this fade class to them. So let's just quickly go back here. Super simple. All we have to do is get the links, and for each link here in parentheses, we're going to run an arrow function. And what we need to do here is just get the link class list. I'm going to toggle the fade class. And that's pretty much it. Let's see. Open this up. Look at that. We get a super nice fade. We can close this back up. And there you go. Just like that, you can add more personality to your navigation. So thank you again very much for taking the time, and hopefully you learned something new. Also, please drop a sub if you enjoy this type of content on this channel. And until next time, liquid fluidity.